Sometimes on online forums and journal sites and such, I roleplay Mickey Mouse for fun. And one day I was talking to a friend of mine who also roleplays, and she actually said she liked the way I played Mickey because before then she thought Mickey was boring because he was always such a goody two shoes. And that statement really surprised me. I don't think I was playing him out of character because if you honestly take a good look at Mickey and not just the present he has, you will find that he's not perfect. He's not a goody two shoes. Disney may try to play that angle up now because, PC reasons. They want to make sure we don't step on anybody's toes. We want to influence kids. But the real essence of Mickey is not perfect. And he wasn't created to be perfect either. This wasn't something that developed over time. This wasn't a one-time thing. Mickey has always been imperfect. He's always been a little mischievous. If you take a look at the very first cartoon, well, some debate whether it's Plain Crazy or Steamboat Willie, but we'll take both of these. Steamboat Willie, if you remember and watch the cartoon, he doesn't exactly win in the end. He helps Minnie get on the boat. He plays around with her. But Pete gives him a good old kick in the tush, and he's back to peeling potatoes. He doesn't really get a victory out of this. We don't even know if he'll see Minnie again. We don't know his future, but in that world of the cartoon, he loses, basically. He's stuck back doing a really boring job. And in Plain Crazy, Mickey isn't a hero either. He comes off as this almost too aggressive miscreant. He keeps trying to force himself on Minnie, thinking he's pretty suave and cool, but he's not. And while he does get a slight victory in the end, what we've seen can't be forgotten. And the black and white filmography really helps show how imperfect he is, how he can be kind of mean and cruel, but only to the extent that any other person can be. Because Mickey was made to be like the everyday person, the everyday human, just in a mouse form, and nobody's perfect. We all have our little dark sides, we all like to play around. There were some cartoons, again, where he didn't win. Sometimes Minnie outright rejected him. And in one cartoon, he was actually a prisoner. It's called the Chain Gang. He tries to escape prison, only to wind up back in it. So, no, he has not always been the hero. Sometimes he's been almost the villain. He's not evil, per se. No. He's just a little devious. A little silly. But, in the end, I'd like to think he always learns his lesson and improves on it. And over the years, he has softened up considerably. Donald Duck began getting his own cartoons because people were feeling Mickey was too goody-goody. And they needed someone to piss off again. But, fortunately, people have managed to balance who Mickey is. He's a guy who will do what's right in his heart. But if he sees a chance to play a trick, if he sees a chance to have some fun, with maybe not the best intentions, he'll take it. He can be a little deviant. And that's fun. It's fun to see the goody two-shoes we know and love be a little jerk sometimes. To show how human he is. To show some humility when those plans fail in the end. And sometimes you can see it in the present day too. In the House of Mouse cartoons, Mickey wasn't perfect there either. There were times when he wasted the rent money for the nightclub on cheese. There were times when his jealousy got the best of him. In the end, of course, he made up for it. Though there were always little jokes and gags that he would probably wind up doing this again. And again, there was nothing wrong with that. Mickey's hilarious when he tries to be bad. But it is okay to think of him as being the hero, because ultimately he will do what's right in his heart. Ultimately, he is a good person. He just falls victim to temptation. I think that's the best word to put it. And who doesn't nowadays? Who doesn't? Who doesn't fall into temptation at least once in their life? Mickey falling into temptation is the best reflection of us, because nowadays, when he inevitably does, falls to these temptations, he rises up stronger than ever. Which tells us we can also rise up stronger than ever. We can see ourselves in Mickey. None of us are perfect. Some of us are a little more good than the others. Some of us may be teased for being narcs or for choosing to do the right thing. But again, none of us are perfect. We all have our little temptations, our dark sides. And maybe we'll let them slip out when no one else is looking. Nothing wrong with that. We're only human. So, for those of you who think Mickey is boring because he's too good, I seriously recommend you look at the black and white cartoons. I recommend looking at the comics where he's been a little deviant. Basically, I just recommend you to look at Mickey all over again because he's not a perfect goody two-shoes. He's a little brat sometimes, and that's why he's great. None of the characters are supposed to be perfect. If they were, that would be incredibly boring to watch. Donald has his temper, Daisy's a narcissist, Goofy's kind of dumb. Even Minnie can be kind of silly. Be it her overly feminine ways in the old 1950s comics, or today's love-obsessed, kind of damsel in distress kind of mode. They all have their problems, and that's why we love them. Because if they didn't have problems, they wouldn't be entertaining to watch. And we want to see these problems fulfilled, we want to see them solved, we want to see them gain and happily ever after. You don't get happily ever after without once upon a time.